Hello and welcome to another video. And the Sparks of the Future update is here. This video, we're going to go over what's in the pack, what is free, what is paid for, and what cool things that I'm really excited about. Now, the pack is $465 Canadian, or at least that's what it cost me, or your regional equivalent. And let's get into it. So this, first off, is the Sparks of the Future station. It is a scenario that you can start when you are starting a game. It's these asteroid cluster here with all these various stations with it. Now, this version is the extended version. There is both the standard and extended. You'll get the standard right away without having to do anything, but they didn't want to put the extended version in automatically because it's a little much for low-end systems. At least that was their reasoning. So if you want the extended version, it is in the workshop and you can find it there. It's probably like the most subscribed thing today, so you can probably find it quite easily. But you would start your journey on this station over here, I believe. Yes, right at this medical bay. You would come on out through the airlock and get on to the red tram system. Now, ignore the fact that I've spawned in some planets back there. That's to show off the weather in a bit. This scenario does not have any planets in it, just asteroid field. But you can take these trams around and they are automatic, nice little subway system. They'll stop at each place, wait a little bit for you to get on and off, and then go off to the next place. But this base is wonderfully designed. There is so much stuff to go and look at and do here. For example, we can come on down here. There is the Shrine of Clang, where you can go and hear the sermon from the Clang gods. Although, I still think it's spelled with a K, but that's just me. There is a aquarium where they have a little swimming fishy and distortions. There's water? No, this is actually a really cool design, the builders of this area. They're getting the distortion effect by running a safe zone. That gives it that blue shimmer. And then they're getting this little fishy by running a projection off of this hollow table here on a rotor. Like, I think that is some really cool design. And then they have this little fishy, which is obviously just a little pack of corner blocks, essentially. And it's just doing a nice little circular swimming path. Oh god, it's so cute. But there's all sorts of great stuff. I believe this area is like industrial on this side. There's also, if you go off to the other side over here, this has got like security, and it has a... Is it this area that has the firing range? I can't remember. There's a clinic there, train station, shooting range. Yeah, you come in right through here and there is a shooting range, and I'll quickly teleport my character here. And you can grab a gun and some bullets from these containers here, and we can take part in the shooting range. So we get the rapid fire gun here. We can press start, and then get ready. Things are going to pop up, and you shoot them down. And I'm getting these reputation changes. I didn't get this earlier when I tried this out. I don't know why that's occurring now. Probably because I've modified this a little bit so I can make this video a bit easier. But you get points every time you hit them, and they pop up and down. They're actually using some of the new blocks that are in this update. But we will leave that for now. You can explore the rest of the station yourself, as there is a lot of stuff going on. And we are going to fly on down to Earth-like as I've set up a demo platform in order to show off all the various blocks that have been added. And there are a lot. Like, a lot of blocks. So, this is probably the most exciting part of this update for me. We have hinges now. Yes, boys and girls, hinges. Now, up until now, we have only had pistons and rotors. So, pistons for our lateral movement, rotors for our rotational movement. That's good. You can do a lot with pistons and rotors. However, hinges mean that you can make this precise, like 45 degrees, easy direction change. You don't have to do the stupid, like, part where if you wanted to make sort of a fake hinge with some rotors, you would have to do like rotor and then that and then another rotor on the side of that and then the rotor would be like a hinge, kind of. Like, you'd make this huge contraption. Nah, you can just do it with these little things now. I think this is going to be great. Like, can you imagine how easy it's going to be? I wonder how well this will be built. Is if you can do an advanced rotor and then a hinge on top of that, because the hinges are conveyored, and boom, that's your turret. You just put some form of gun right on the front of this, like a sort of the missile launcher. What is the block weapon? Rocket launcher. Because it's got a conveyor on the back of it. Bam, there. That is a turret that would be able to shoot in a 180 degree arc. These rotors are able to, these hinges, I'm sorry, are able to go down to 90 to 90, and then you'd be able to turn it all the way around, and boom, there you go. Turret. In 2 blocks. It's so tiny. It's beautiful. And I'm super excited about using them in my stuff. And it also means one less mod that I don't have to have in my world. But along with the large block to large block, you can also just remove the part and put in a small block. And so you can go from large to small just like you can with rotors. That's great. You also have 3x3 for small block and 1x1 for small block. Now that's one thing we don't have. We don't have small advanced rotors. It's still something I want them to add. Hopefully that's in their next update, because if I could get small advanced rotors and small essentially advanced hinges, you can make such interesting tiny robotics with that in this game. But overall, hinges, awesome. Can't wait for it. Just, yes, I can. I want to use it. Along with that, we have just a basic door. But it's a sealed door on small block. So that way you don't have to deal with making these jank doors where you like unmerge something and then rotate it out with a rotor and then rotate it back and then remerge it. No, you can just have an actual, like, door. Build your own little airlocks on the back of your little small ships, and this will be great for people that are sort of like the small ship gone big kind of feeling, where they're not just a small ship with a cockpit you enter directly into. They have like a interior to them. This will be excellent for those kind of people. But yeah, you can fit right through it, easy peasy, walk right through. Wonderful. The other next big thing for free here, and remember, all this so far is free. Stuff over there is paid for. We have letter blocks, and they have these for the entire alphabet, all of the numbers, and several different special characters. So we have the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, da, 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 all the way through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0. We got hyphens, underscores, apostrophes, periods, colons, exclamation mark, question marks, ampersand, everything that you would need to do basic sentences and basic signage. And they have it in both small block and large block. So you can make these giant signs like you saw back up at the station, how they had that sign to say, welcome to the Sparks of the Future. And another great thing about this is, say I want to recolor these. Say I want them red. It's actually really easy to recolor because they actually, when you're looking at them, they take that volume. So all I have to do is just go holding down my middle mouse button and boom, recolored. So it's super easy to recolor your signage, which is going to be very useful. Now there's a bunch of LCD stuff. First one being, if you have an existing LCD, you can actually rotate it. So you can increase the rotation or decrease the rotation. So if you have an LCD but you want it to be on its side for some reason, maybe it just doesn't fit that way, or the way it was brought in, maybe using an image to LCD code converter, and it's like, this is not working properly, you can just rotate it. Excellent. Also, we have several new just posters. We got the Cosmic Team, we got Exploration, the Thunder Fleet, Bright Future, and Space Travel. And they have variations of them for both just regular square LCDs and the wide horizontal LCDs. So you can see how the format and the layout of it. Cosmic Team here is stacked with Cosmic and then Team underneath it, where over here they have enough room, Cosmic Team across the top. So I think, like, for example, this one looks way better as this. Maybe Bright Future looks way better as, say, the vertical version, because they have those as well. So they have these for the regular 1 block, the 2 wide, and the 2 tall, which is excellent. But from here, we are leaving the free and entering the paid. So if you want anything past this point, actually, one last thing, weather. I should talk about that, because that's free. Everyone gets weather. Now, as you're playing, we'll take a look here. If we go to weather, we can see that weather is going to happen the next time in 2,354 seconds. I don't want to wait that long, so I'm going to force some weather here. But there's a whole bunch of different weather. All of these different choices. And as you play, they will happen randomly, where you'll just get a little bit of fog. Look at that. But it won't happen this quickly. What'll happen is it'll slowly fade in, because it's going to happen automatically. Ooh, that's excellent. So you'll be playing on your game, and then you'll just notice, like, it's getting a little foggier, and then the fog will roll in, and then a little bit later, oh, there's some rain starting, and then lightning. They're adding lightning to this. So if I'm not mistaken, lightning actually deals damage. Yeah, your stuff is gonna get freaking struck by lightning. Boom. That is awesome. And as far as I understand, say we have like really heavy fog, stuff such as solar is going to be affected by this. So if I plop down a solar panel, this solar panel is not going to get as much power than if I changed the weather. So let's drop down a control seat just so I can see things. Just back to normal color here. So my solar panel is currently at 37.5-ish. If I change my weather to... should just have remove weather. Look at that. Look how quickly these 3 icons came back. And we look at the solar, 150. So, that's going to be so cool. Can you imagine if you had a situation, this is ultimate storytelling for what space engineers would be. You just got out at nighttime, oh, I'm ready to get some solar power for my base because I'm just barely surviving. I need the power to run my turrets. Oh no, fog. Now I don't have enough power. I have to turn off this to make sure that stays on. Like, automatic weather is going to add such cool aspects to this game. And then you go along and be like, oh shit, lightning storm is coming in. What will we do? Because our roof is going to get electrocuted. You actually have to have some cover for your base. But anyway, now, oh God, we've been recording for far too long, but already we're done the free. Everything up until now was free. Everything past here is paid for. So, first thing is the Sci-Fi LCDs. Now these are essentially big honkin' LCDs. You have a 3x3 block, 5x5, a 3x5, and then I've just rotated it so you can see the fact that those new posters work on these as well. Really big LCDs, awesome for giant billboards. Like if you're making a world that is like sort of a Mad Max world, with lots of vehicles driving around, and you want to have like a billboard on the side of the road, hell yeah, throw up a 5x5. That'll be so easy to see as somebody drives by. Excellent. So, nice big LCDs. Next up is neon lights, and there's several different ones here. We have just straight with the little band there. That's the only difference between these, is that little sort of support structure. Got a nice 90-degree corner, a 90-degree corner, but on sort of the interior of a wall. And I've specifically colored this. Just that tiny little blue part is the block. It's just to go around sort of the outside edge of something. So you can connect to straights that way. A sort of junction, a power box for its beginning or end. We have a straight, but then goes around the outside edge of something, as you can see the color difference there between the other straight block and this straight with a curve. And then a nice U, which would be great for, you know, creating little walkways and such. You know, neon lights. And as you recolor them, they just take on the color of whatever you gave them. So if I want to take these yellow, boom, just recolor them, easy peasy, and then they are glowing bright yellow. Beautiful. Along with this sort of sci-fi cyberpunk feeling, we have Sci-Fi Thrusters. Ion thrusters of the big and large variety. The big and small variety, and atmospherics of the big and small variety, and I believe as well on small block, as I did not prepare that. How silly of me to not prepare small block versions of these for you guys, but I assume. So they're the Sci-Fi Thrusters here. And yeah, there is small block versions of them as well, as you can see right there, as this thing will fall over, but they do exist. So what I like about them is they look so cool. Like, look at these tubes running down and the structure behind it. If you compare that to a normal ion thruster, like, it just doesn't compare. This ion thruster is just a block in a little cylinder. This model is so much better. It's kind of sad that this is a paid thing, but it is entirely cosmetic. It almost feels like it should be part of like a giant remodeling of a lot of the game's models to make them look more futuristic. But I can get where they're coming from, where this is just a cosmetic upgrade. I mean, is entirely the same functionality to what already exists. But anyway, moving on. We have Sci-Fi interior walls. So, compared to the normal interior walls, it's just a little bit of an upgrade. It's got some better detailing to it. A little danger high voltage sign there. Pretty nice. We have, what are these here? The bars. Sci-Fi bar counter corner. Got a little sink. We're selling some Clang coffee and Clang cola. So there's cosmic coffee and Clang cola. We also have the straight version as well, so you could pack these together and make yourself a nice, concession area cafe. I will definitely add these into my single-player world in the sort of concession areas that I have designed. We have a Sci-Fi control panel, which is essentially just this control panel, but it looks way better than a normal control panel, because a normal control panel is just this. I was even upside down. It's just this little thing. It's just like a button panel, but this is a full-on like type on a control panel. Now this is the only issue I have that is actually an issue for the entire thing. This is functional. This is a single button on large grid, and that doesn't exist. If you go to button there and you go through them, there's the different panels, there's the different button panels, but this is the only one button terminal. So this means that I can walk up here and I can have a single button instead of having to have a button panel of 4. This doesn't exist in vanilla. This isn't a cosmetic upgrade. This is actual functional. That's the only thing. If they want to have this as the cosmetic upgrade, they should introduce a simple looking one button panel for the normal people. That is my only issue with this entire pack, really. But still, it's a one button panel on large grid with the ability to have a little LCD here, so you can put a label on it. So you can have like a cycle airlock or something like that on this, and I believe they do use that up in the Sparks of the Future station as several things. You can walk up, press the one button, and it cycles the airlock or does one particular thing at that location. Then, something that is a sort of a better representation of it, we do have our normal button panels, as you can see there. This is just Sci-Fi version of the button panel. Yeah, it looks shinier. Instead of these just being 1, 2, 3, 4, they actually have screens, so you can put some text there. You can put images there if you want to, using like Whip's image converter. You can do all sorts of fun stuff. So this is good. Moving on, another small grid door. Now we did get the free small grid door way down over here. This one is free. But the one that is way over here is just a different design, and it is part of the paid content. That's fine. Functionality, it's just another door. It's just, instead of being centered, it's offset to one side, and it's one complete door instead of the door splitting in two and going to either side. It's the only difference, so it's just another door. Now, the last thing in this stupidly long video for this update is new skins. We have 3 of them. There are Sci-Fi armor, seen on the left here, neon colorable lights, seen in the middle, and neon colorable surface, seen on the right. So all of these right here are still gray, the base gray. This one is just Sci-Fi armor, just a little basic, but, you know, it's an upgrade. This one, though, it takes on a relatively dark base color, but then these white areas here are emissive, and you can color them to whatever you want. So beautiful. So let's say we go for, say, like a nice yellow, like we did for the neon over there. Look at that. Look at that pattern. A hexagonal pattern with the neon emissives all around it. It's beautiful. Then combine that with this one, and this one is sort of the reverse of this. The emissives stay the same color, just a white color, and the background is whatever you color it. So to better represent these, we've got that on 3 different armor blocks. So you can see this is Sci-Fi, which I think, you know, once you get a lot of it in there, the Sci-Fi armor looks pretty cool. We have the, whichever one this was, this is the neon colorable lights and the neon colorable surface. These are both just still gray. But of course you can go in and paint these. If you wanted to. But god, that yellow is way too bright. Ah, blue, so much better. So much my color. And then we can see how they look on the standard blue team rover. And I think this is gonna look cool. This rover looks like it's out of Tron, and that is awesome to me. It's like, especially the cockpit. Look at that nice shiny edging on it. It is so pretty. But yeah, that should be it for this update. There's a bunch of stuff here. I'm gonna... damn, there is so much stuff to do. You can make some nice little pretty ships with your sci-fi armors and skins. Make them look all futuristic. I definitely need to have a giant sign in my single player world saying Kanajashi's world in the whatever I want to name my city. But one very important thing I want to end this off with is a lot of the work done for this, and as far as I understand, a lot of the credit goes to modders in the community, because several of these things are modded, started as mods, and then were brought in and set up to be base space engineers. Hinges exist as a mod. Letter blocks exist as a mod. I'm not sure. I think neon lights and such were a mod as well. I can't remember. But a lot of this stuff exists as mods that were then contacted by the developers, the space engineers, and I'm not sure how the process worked, but their work got introduced into the game. So awesome work for those guys, improving the game that we all like to enjoy and share together, and having their content, their concepts be in the game. That is excellent. But that is going to be it. Thanks for watching. And one last thing. There's a whole bunch of different emotes now too in the paid content. We'll just run through them here. If you point over there. And okay. Very weird dance. And another weird dance. Alright. 8 different emotions there. Emotes. Well, it'll be good for people that use them. I've never had a reason to use emotes because I never use them. But that's going to be it. That is all the content, unless I've forgotten something horribly, which then, whatever. This video is already like half an hour long. It shows you just how much stuff is in this update. Thanks for watching. Good hunting out there, fellow space engineers.